In a quiet corner of our town, tucked away from the hustle and bustle, there's a street where time seems to slow down. The houses are old, each one with its own story etched into the weathered wood and faded paint. It was on this very street, as a kid with scraped knees and a wild imagination, that I found something extraordinary. It wasn't a hidden treasure chest or a secret map, but something much smaller, yet infinitely more powerful: a glass marble. It lay half buried in the dirt under a sprawling old oak tree, winking at me in the afternoon sun. It wasn't like any marble I'd ever seen. It was perfectly clear, but deep inside, a tiny galaxy of colors swirled and danced. It felt strangely warm to the touch. I pocketed my new treasure and ran home, my heart thumping with the kind of excitement only a child can feel. That night I couldn't sleep. I held the marble up to the moonlight streaming through my window. As I twisted it in my fingers, concentrating on the swirling colors inside, the world outside my window began to blur. My room stretched and warped, the walls seeming to breathe. I felt a gentle pull, like being swept up in a soft current, and then stillness. I blinked, my eyes adjusting. I was still in my room, but everything was different. The posters on my wall were gone, replaced by faded, unfamiliar wallpaper. The wooden floors were shinier, and the air smelled of lemon polish and old books. I crept out of my room and tiptoed downstairs. The furniture was different, chunkier, with floral patterns I'd only seen in old photographs. Through the living room window, I saw it, a horse-drawn cart clattering down my street. My street! But it wasn't my street, not anymore. I was in the past. My heart hammered against my ribs, a mix of terror and pure, unadulterated wonder. I ran back to my room, clutched the marble, and squeezed my eyes shut, wishing with all my might to be back home. And just like that, with another dizzying lurch, I was. My posters were back, my worn-out rug was on the floor. It wasn't a dream. The marble was a time machine. Over the next few weeks, that little glass sphere became my greatest secret and my grandest adventure. I learned how to control it. Thinking of a specific time, a specific memory while holding the marble would take me there. I visited my town during the Roaring Twenties, watching people in cloche hats and flapper dresses stroll by. I saw the first cars sputtering down roads that were still mostly dirt. I was a silent observer, a ghost in time, watching history unfold not in a book, but right before my very eyes. It was intoxicating. But my curiosity didn't just pull me backward. It pulled me forward. One evening I sat with the marble and tried to imagine the future. What would my quiet street look like in 50 years? 100? I focused, the colors inside the glass spun faster, and the world dissolved again. When it reformed, I gasped. The old houses were gone, replaced by towering structures of glass and steel that pierced the clouds. Gleaming, silent vehicles zipped through the air between them. People wore sleek, silver outfits and communicated through devices projected from their wrists. It was incredible, a science fiction movie come to life. I saw amazing technologies, cures for diseases, and ways of living I couldn't even begin to comprehend. I made many trips to the distant past and the far-flung future. I saw wonders and marvels. But a strange thing started to happen. The more I traveled, the more I felt like a spectator in my own life. When I was in the past, I found myself thinking about the incredible technologies of the future. When I was in the future, I felt a pang of nostalgia for the simple, quiet charm of the past. And when I was back in my own time, my mind was always somewhere else, planning my next trip, wondering what other era I could explore. I was so busy looking backward and forward that I was forgetting to look around. One day, I took the marble and decided to visit a simpler time, the day before. I wanted to relive a perfect summer afternoon I'd just had, playing catch with my dad in the backyard. I landed in the golden light of late afternoon. I saw myself, a younger version by only 24 hours, laughing as the ball flew through the air. I saw my dad, his face lit up with a smile. But watching it from the outside as an observer, it felt empty. The joy I had felt in that moment was gone. I was just watching a memory, a recording. I wasn't it. That's when it hit me, a realization so profound it shook me to my core. The magic wasn't in reliving the past or previewing the future. The magic was in the living. It was in the feel of the grass under my feet, the warmth of the sun on my skin, the sound of my dad's laughter in that very moment. From that day on, my trips through time became less frequent. I started paying more attention to the here and now. I noticed the way the light changed throughout the day, the taste of my mom's cooking, the stories my grandparents told. I savored the long, lazy days of summer and the cozy, quiet nights of winter. My adventures weren't through time anymore. They were in the small, precious moments of my own life. The past was a beautiful collection of lessons and memories, and the future was a horizon of hope and possibility, but the present was a gift. It was the only place where life was actually happening. Years passed, I grew up. I went to college, started a career, and eventually moved back to that same quiet neighborhood. The old oak tree was still there, its branches reaching even wider now. I kept the marble, not as a tool for travel, but as a reminder. A reminder to be present, to be mindful, to appreciate the now. One sunny afternoon, I was sitting on my porch when I saw a young girl, no older than I was when I found it. She had that same look in her eyes, a mix of boredom and a deep, churning curiosity about the world. She was kicking at a loose stone near the base of the old oak tree. I smiled. I walked over, my hand closing around the familiar, smooth sphere in my pocket. "Looking for treasure?" I asked. She looked up, startled. I knelt down and opened my palm. The marble lay there, its inner galaxy swirling with a silent, ancient promise. "I think this belongs to you now," I said. Her eyes went wide with wonder, just as mine had all those years ago. I didn't tell her its secret. I didn't have to. Some lessons we have to learn for ourselves. I simply told her to take good care of it, and that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones that teach us to see the magic in the world right in front of us. As she ran off, clutching the marble tightly in her hand, I knew its journey was continuing. The lesson of the marble, the preciousness of the present moment, would be passed on. Because after all, the most incredible journey you can ever take is the one you're on, right here, right now. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this story with me. If it resonated with you, consider subscribing for more tales and reflections. Take care and be present.